Stand, please.
Sorry, there's a company that presented recently at one of the angel groups. It's called Community Land.
Would you start at the beginning?
There's a company that was presenting at one of the angel groups a few months ago.
Brian gave you the pretend microphone.
There's a company that was presented a few months ago at an angel group meeting that I was at, and it's called Community Land. And they are on the cusp of doing basically peer-to-peer type lending. So that's going to be the first, or is the first, company in Canada. I think there was one in the UK, and I believe there's one in the United States as well.
There's one that I know Dan McHelp did along with Kiva, for example, a similar sort of organization where it's that peer-to-peer lending, different sort of structure, but similar sort of concept.
Well, you know, we hear a lot about microloans and microfinance and what the Grameen Bank is doing, and I think, wonder if we couldn't do that model, but at North American entry levels, perhaps. Why not?
In the UK, the difficulty is, of course, legislative. That you can't actually. I don't know what the laws are in Canada, but in the UK, you simply can't. It's imprisonable for. It's 5 years imprisonment if you were to ask somebody to put money into a business and you're not authorised by the Financial Services Authority. So it's a very different legislative landscape.
Same here, same problem. But there are ways to get around it.
All right.
Come and see me afterwards.
I can see a few relieved faces.
There's always a way, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you're always going to solve the problem.
That's why we love them, huh? All right, let's switch gears. Got another topic to introduce. It's the classic people versus technology. Now, we've kicked this can around from time to time. Has the story changed? Is the economy causing us to rethink that? Which is most critical? I know oftentimes my friends will say, be careful when you're getting involved with university, let's say commercialization. Don't get wowed by all the intellectual property. But Tom Perkins at Kleiner Perkins, he's famous for saying he thinks the technology is the most important ingredient for a successful startup. Gentlemen?
I don't understand the technology of most of the companies I've invested in. But seriously, you know, when you look at the real smashing successes, like RIM that I mentioned earlier, you know, their technology is not what made them successful. And the really successful companies, a lot of the top companies today, are there not because of what was in their original business plan or their original technology. They've seen new opportunities and they've seized those opportunities. And I think the original business plan and the first technology is just the starting point. And it helps you get to know the people and work with the people. But I think the technology is down at, you know, 6 or 7 on my scale.
It makes me think a rule of thumb I use is if an entrepreneur comes in, makes a presentation, and I can go home and explain it to my mother, and she will nod her head and get it, that's maybe a step in the right direction. I don't know. Take it away from me.
I'm being in sales, my background in sales and just sales. So whenever somebody says this is what the product, often what happens is people explain what's something. You know, the features and benefits. They describe the features of something rather than the benefits. Whereas I'm just a salesperson. I'm just thinking, why would somebody want to buy that? And that sometimes helps amazingly in commercialization conversations. The other thing for me, it's always people. You see a business plan, that's great for, this is the way we see the world at this moment in time. The day after, management typically have to make about 20 to 25 decisions a day. So it's always got to be the quality of the people, and all you hope is that the people you're backing get more of the decisions right than wrong. That's all you can hope for.
Just a point on that issue of technology, I mean, just a view. There are definitely technologies that will change the world. They do arise. We see them. And I guess what Kleiner Perkins is saying is, we're looking for technologies that are going to change the world. And we're so famous that we'll find the guys who will make them into a success. That's probably what their model is. I always go for the people, first and foremost. But there are technologies that if you get the right people behind them are going to really make a lot of money.
Well, Tom Perkins, he came from Hewlett-Packard where people were a commodity. If he found the right technology, he could put a team behind it. All right, maybe another subject then. Get ready. I'm going to go to the audience again. Oh, wait.
Right here at the
front of
front.
me? Yes. Please stand.
Sorry.
Introduce yourself again, please.
Hi, Patricia Lorenz, Summit Co-Chair. I wanted to ask each of you, to the extent that some of the companies failed, what sort of percentage would you characterize the failure? What type of failure? I've seen circumstances where either an angel or a group of angels representatives have had to step in to turn around distressed situations. And can you talk about a few of those successes?
You mean where they successes after angels have come in?
Yeah, angels have come in and the CEO hasn't been right. In other words, are they failing because nobody's really focusing on marketing, because the product is mischaracterized, because they've used government remittances to pay payroll, so directors are on the hook for more than their original investment. I've been involved in one of those.
You should be on this panel.
But my point is that you're focusing now. What do you do about these distressed things? If they're still a good product, how do you turn that sow's ear into
Isn't that a question
recovery?
of governance and stewardship?
Yeah.
Having the oversight and then the angel group that's investing and the board that hopefully the angels have put in place, keep an eye on that. And it's not so much that they might step in to take over, but that they would make sure that the right CEO is in place to make it work, and that all your term sheets and shareholders agreements and so on, as well as your articles, are set up to permit that, so that the founders, and this is where I think all of us have had failures, is where the founders maintain control and there's no way to get in there and properly govern it.